Alright, what's up guys, and welcome back to the LEGO Star Wars build. Today's video is going to be including spoilers for the last movie that came out. Obviously I started building this thing in the beginning of December, and now it's a couple days past the premiere of The Last Jedi, and I would like to talk about the movie, so if you don't want to get spoiled for the movie, I highly suggest you either don't watch the video or watch it later when you have seen the movie, or, feel free, what probably most of you are doing anyways, to mute the video and just watch me build. Also, I got a haircut. Hopefully it looks good on cam. I just like getting my hair short because it just means you do this and you're done in the morning. But yeah, other than that, like I said, spoilers, be aware. I'm going to spoil some stuff. Well, I'm not going to say, oh yeah, Darth Vader is Luke's son. I'm not going to just say that stuff outright, but I'm going to talk and discuss stuff that happened in the movie, and hopefully also build this thing, which is already proving harder than I thought. Anyway, so, The Last Jedi. I will save my rating for the very end of this conversation. And I'm sure I'm not going to talk about it the entire time. I went into the theater with quite high expectations of the movie. I'm 23 years old, so I am, you could say I'm old enough to have seen, how does this work? One spot open. All right, I already screwed this up. I was like less than 10 years old when the remakes were done. I think the first prequel was done in 1999, like Episode 1. I think that was done in 1999. I was like 5 years old and I didn't really know what Star Wars was, and I'm sure my parents wouldn't allow me to see it. And then I think I was like 9 or 10 when Episode 3 was released. So I never really saw a Star Wars movie in theaters. And then they came out, obviously, with Episode 7, The Force Awakens, and, I don't know why I pointed at my shirt, but whatever, and, I think it was a good movie. I really think that it was heavily carried by nostalgia from a lot of people being excited for the movie, and people wanting to, really wanted to do good. And I think a lot of people really were blinded by that nostalgia. I'm not going to say The Force Awakens was a bad movie, but especially with Captain Phasma and like all the hype surrounding that character in particular, and then it turned out that she was in the movie for 9 whole seconds. Obviously, I'm exaggerating here. It wasn't 9 seconds. It was like 30 or 40, but she was not a big part of the movie, even though she was hyped in the trailer. It's like, I almost feel like if you ever watched James Bond, it's like having a stupid henchman that is going to get killed by James Bond by like one pistol shot. It's like having one of those henchmen very prominently in the trailer. Like, that wouldn't make sense. Like, a guy you're going to just get rid of so quickly. Obviously, in The Force Awakens, she wasn't, like, killed or anything. She was fine. She didn't... Wait, how the fuck are you supposed to get that under here? Oh, you can just push on this. But, I don't know. That was one of my main complaints about The Force Awakens. They hyped up this really cool stormtrooper character with, silver-plated armor, and it was, like, a super badass character. And I wasn't opposed to it being a girl. I don't give a fuck who's... I'm not sexist or anything. I don't give a fuck who's playing who. It's just like, oh, cool character, finally. And there was other things in The Force Awakens when I think back of it. The fact that Kylo Ren, super cool character. Really cool design. Darth Vader, but, very different still. And then he takes off his helmet. And the entire thing where it's like, who's under his helmet? Who could it be? Is it someone who's super deformed like Darth Vader? Is it someone who completely, has been sucked up by the Force and is like, or by the dark side, or maybe it's a girl. It wouldn't be the first time where, like in Star Wars lore, especially a woman wants to hide her sex or like her gender. So I don't know. I was like, really, oh, this is going to be super cool. And then he takes off his mask, and I'm not gonna bitch about the character or the actor. I think I forgot his name. I really don't remember his name. The name of the actor who plays Kylo Ren. I don't think he's a bad actor at all. I mean, I'm sure he can act better than I can. Don't get me wrong, but I did not like the fact that they removed the whole psyche, the whole like, who is it? The whole mystery behind Kylo Ren was immediately removed in the first movie. He wasn't a bad guy anymore. Oh, where did that go? Oh. I have a kitty in my lap, so I won't want to lose these things on the ground. The whole psyche, like, oh, Kylo Ren is a bad guy, we'll never know who he is. All that stuff was immediately gone. And I really liked the original movies because you have this badass character, Darth Vader, and you don't see his face until like the last 10 minutes of the last movie. So this character is this mystical, mysterious bad guy, fucking insane bad guy, who you don't know who he actually is until the very end. I just thought that was really bad. Also, I need to pay attention to what I'm doing here before I fuck up as well. I don't know. I really think that in that way, that was like a big miss for me in The Force Awakens. I was really, looking forward to a new badass villain. The Force Awakens itself, though, I think Finn and Rey were good characters. It was cool to see the Stormtrooper side of things, even though it was only for like 5 minutes in the movie. But this isn't about The Force Awakens. It's just like, I feel like The Force Awakens doesn't get as much flack as I feel like it should. Mainly because people were mainly like, oh yeah, this, it's the first Star Wars movie in over 10 years, so, hopefully it'll be good. And then, I don't think it was bad, but I'm gonna put this in here before I forget what I'm doing. It wasn't the worst movie. And then, my favorite Star Wars movie, Rogue One, came out, obviously, last year, saw that in cinemas too. Absolute fantastic movie. People say that there wasn't enough lightsaber combat. I can see that. The only lightsaber combat in Rogue One was, sort of spoiler, I guess, if you haven't seen the movie over a year ago, is where Darth Vader comes into the very end, and they basically really awesomely connect Episode 4, the original Episode 4, or Episode 1, like, they have Darth Vader go through the whole boarding party scene at the start of Episode 4, but they redo it in Rogue One, and it literally shows, like, R2-D2 and how the plans of the Death Star got to be onto R2-D2, and it's like, Leia's like, Obi-Wan, we need your help. It was a really cool connecting episode. Yeah, there wasn't much Force being used, but, oh, hang on, how do I do this? This way. But from a movie perspective, lots of people were like, they said they hated Rogue One because it was boring and there was way too much story. I thought Rogue One was amazing. Maybe the male good guy wasn't my favorite actor of all time. I think he did an okay job. Definitely didn't do the best acting ever, but K2SO, like the big robot guy, best character in a Star Wars movie ever, in my opinion. Absolutely an amazing, funny character with some just hysterical. God damn, how does this go on here? Pushes all the way down. I think I do. With some amazingly hysterical quotes that when he starts like calculating their survival like chances and stuff, it's really funny and one of my favorite Star Wars droids. And probably my favorite character from Rogue One. Only thing about Rogue One, the villain, Director Krennic, kind of a lame up. Kind of a lame character. Throwing hissy fits when his boss wasn't being nice to him or whatever. But I loved Rogue One. Maybe they could have cut off the whole Saw Gerrera part, which would have saved like 10 minutes. But the movie had enough action in it. Way more action than The Last Jedi. I was thinking what I was going to say. Don't like the movie like title. Whereas in Rogue One, I rewatched it like yesterday or 2 days ago. The second they get on the shuttle at the Rebel base and they say, "We are Rogue One, requesting permission for takeoff," or whatever. From that point on to the end of the movie, where Darth Vader cuts up some rebels in a spaceship, is pure adrenaline, tension, action. The rebels are having this giant fight on Scarif. Fucking, there's a giant space battle going on. Star destroyers being rammed into by like fucking dreadnoughts and, well, not dreadnoughts, cruisers. There's this whole fucking space battle going on. There's an air battle going on. There's a ground battle going on with ATSTs, Death Troopers. This whole fight for the last 15 minutes. There's a couple of fight scenes in between as well that keep the movie going on. And then there's Star Wars The Last Jedi. My girlfriend fell asleep in the cinema. That's how boring it was. Granted, it's also a very long movie. I think Rogue One is about 100 and... I think Rogue One is about 2 hours-ish. And The Last Jedi was 2 hours and 30 minutes in the cinema, which is a very long movie, in my opinion. That's like a long movie. Also, I'm talking way too much for me to pay attention to what I'm doing. Oh, no. Oh, please, no. I need this little... we're looking for penises again. You guys seemed to love this last time, so I'll make sure to note that. This goes through here. And this has to go all the way through. I just didn't think that comparing The Last Jedi with Rogue One, yeah, there was some really cool scenes in The Last Jedi, and here comes the spoilers. The scene where, last chance, the scene where Rey and Kylo Ren, for some reason, are like, "Oh yeah, let's be friends," after having these weird Force meetings, like, they're like in the same room, but they're not. Although they are sort of, because at one point Rey does something and Kylo Ren gets wet, like he physically gets wet in his face because she's like at the ocean front or whatever, and a wave comes in. So they're like really connected through the Force, which also came out of fucking nowhere because I mean he was born from like Leia was apparently also Force sensitive, which we'll get to at some point, but they're standing and then they have this conversation and Snoke, this super powerful bad guy who's at least as powerful as the Emperor, probably more powerful, although that could be up for debate. And he doesn't. He's probably the person. He's probably the Force person who connected Rey and Kylo Ren in the first place, and was like, "We need to get Rey to the dark side." So he was trying to connect Kylo Ren and Rey with his Force abilities to, you know, get them to talk to each other and to try and convince Rey, through Kylo Ren, to join them in the dark side. He's able to do that, but he's not able to notice Kylo Ren Force manipulating a lightsaber literally a feet away from him, and I don't know. That really got to me, and I was sitting in the cinema like, what? It's like that. I forgot. There's like that meme where there's a girl doing like, what? It's like one of those standard memes. And I was like, what the fuck? In what way is this gonna? What the hell? Where does this penis go on? I am super confused. This. What? This is like this. Oh, it just slides on here. I got it. Okay, that's kind of cool. I don't know what I'm building, but whatever. And I was just sitting there like, what the fuck is going on? Like, how does this super powerful, like, bad guy not feel that his apprentice, because that's what Kylo Ren was to Snoke, how does he not feel his hatred for him and realize that, like, I'm about to get executed? And then I'm gonna jump from like one thing to another, but to kind of stay on the Snoke part of the movie. So Snoke gets a lightsaber in his stomach and just gets fucking halved. His body, he's sitting like me, like he's sitting like kind of laid back, like, kill her. And then he gets zapped in half. Half of his body just like flubbles off the chair. So there's this like, I don't know, crotch and below part. Let's say belly button. Let's keep it Disney. This belly button and below part are just on the chair, like, and then also I'm not building this at all quickly. I'm talking way too much, but they're not building. They're not. Oh no, I did a baddie. This needs to go up way up here. He's sitting there and like, after just basically having this character, which seems pretty dark, and it's not gruesome, but it's definitely like, you know, I wouldn't show that to a 4-year-old. And in the same movie, they have these chicken things who are super adorable, and it's like, who did this? Like, what? This makes no sense. Why would you have a movie? Either make a very cute Star Wars movie or make a very dark Star Wars movie. But you can't just have a character. Sorry, I'm trying to put this in here and I'm breaking it. You can't just have a character get absolutely destroyed and then at the same time have super cute bird things in there. Didn't make any sense to me. And the same thing goes for like in the ensuing fight with those badass fucking motherfucking red clothed guards, and they have these insane sort of helmets, and they almost look like the Emperor's like Imperial Guard with like the red stuff on from the original trilogy, and also you can also see those in the Clone Wars, and I think in Episode 3 of Star Wars, like the prequels. These badass red guards or whatever, not red guards, but they're like clothed in red, and they're super badass, and one looks way cooler, and then there's this guy who looks super fucking badass, and they turn out to be like Jedi, well, not Jedi, but like Force Guardians, because they have like lightsaber-esque things, and then they pull them out, and it's like a nunchuck, and one is like a whip, but like it's a Star Wars whip. It's like Indiana Jones, but it's all like crickly and electricity, and that's maybe my favorite scene in the movie, where there's actually like lots of close fighting, and the camera work was pretty good, and probably a lot of it was CGI, but it looked really, really good. But that fight was just like, I don't know. You watch it and you know who's gonna win. You know it's gonna be Rey and fucking Kylo Ren. Whereas in Rogue One, after K2SO died, defending Poe or whatever his fucking name is, I don't like that character. And what's the other name's character? The girl and the boy who were in the tower looking for the plans, and when he died, I was like, oh shit, characters can die in Star Wars now. Minus, obviously, Han Solo, spoiler. Probably should say spoiler and then say that. And I was like, oh shit, everyone can die now? But then you see these awesome red guards, and I saw them in the first shot of the movie. You see them already, because like Snoke and Kylo Ren have a talk, and Kylo Ren has like a hissy fit, like a fucking teenager, but they talk, and these red guards are standing everywhere, like, we're fucking badass. And then, you know, like, these guys are gonna get fucking wrecked. I don't know, I hate that. I hate knowing that these badass characters are gonna get wrecked. Also, in the meantime, we're moving on. We're not moving on to step 143. Also, we're making a little droid, which I guess I'll make first, because we might as well do that. But yeah, also Kylo Ren, like, such a little bitch. Not trying to bitch about Kylo Ren, but it's really hard. At one point, very early on in the movie, he and Snoke have this conversation, and it's like, you are unworthy, my apprentice, blah, 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 you're basically a fucking piece of shit, you dickweed, and I don't know, Snoke has this whole conversation with Kylo Ren where he's basically, I don't know, it's like if your parents are not really too happy about your performance in school or whatever, and, you know, you get some shit thrown at you. Everyone's probably had that in their life. I mean, you know, your parents just want to, you know, they want to make sure you're doing good in school. But then there's Snoke and Kylo Ren. Obviously, Kylo Ren is, you know, he's not going to school. He's going to kill Jedi, and Snoke wants him to be a good apprentice. But Snoke is like being a fucking prick, and he's like, oh, you're a fucking piece of shit, you're bad, you should kill yourself. And then Kylo Ren is this like, this fucking little bitch. he has this cool ass fucking helmet, and then he goes into the elevator less than 10 minutes after the movie starts, after being done with Snoke and this whole conversation about, you know, you're being a shitty teenager, my son, you need to do better in school. He's like, no, Dad, I want to just drive my car around town and smoke weed every day. And he goes into the elevator, and he just fucking goes ballistic, destroys his helmet, which is the only thing that made Kylo Ren cool to me. So and then also means he was never going to have a helmet on anymore. So you have the Sith Lord, well, I wouldn't call him a Lord, but you have the Sith character, who now totally isn't cool anymore because the only thing that made him cool, he lost and he broke in the fucking elevator for sure. That thing is definitely not coming back. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? You have such a cool character. You already ruined his character in the first movie by having him take, you know, his helmet off. And then you ruin it even more. I don't know. I'm just really confused, and I feel like Disney is doing some stupid stuff. Oh, I need to build this little droid, though. This droid is looking very happy. This is like his arms, I guess, or like his beep boop boop beep boop bop. Where am I gonna find this piece? Oh, okay, there we go. This is a weird. This is like a steering wheel. I like doing, or like I like when I build a lot of Legos because I start to know like everything, and it's pretty funny seeing all of this like a steering wheel for Lego as the head for this character. This might go on here like this. One like this. Okay, and then we'll push this all the way through. And then all we gotta do is find a little triangle block. But yeah, okay, back to, if I can find this piece. There we go. Back to The Last Jedi. So that's the whole, like, you know, you get the dark side and all those bitches and they're not doing jack shit. Basically, it's a horrible movie when it comes to the dark side and the cool villains and everything. Like, there's no cool villains at all. Oh, we got our little droid down, huh? Beep boop bop beep beep boop bop beep. I guess I'll put them there. Well, he fell over. He's fine. We had just the whole coolness of the villains is just gone, and it's like, well, why bother making a villain if you're gonna make him lame anyway? He's gonna throw hissy fits in the elevator and fucking bitch about his parents not giving him money to fucking whatever. It's like, come on, man, fucking grow the fuck up. Where the hell is this gonna go? One goes right here. We're putting seats in right now. Very, very, very insane. We put one right here. No. Right here. Well, how am I supposed to see where you put those if... Man, that's something, isn't it? It looks like this is how it's done, though. There you go. Anyway, then there's the whole Luke and Rey part of the movie. At the end of The Force Awakens, Rey goes on this island and she's like meeting Luke. She has his lightsaber that she got from this fucking weird, stupid female alien character thing on this planet where, you know, the TR-8 guys is like traitor to Rey, and they fight on that same planet. I don't even know, fucking Maze, whatever her name is. She gets Luke's lightsaber, which there's no explanation. This bitch just has fucking Luke's lightsaber because that makes sense. Fuck yeah, that's totally normal. You know, I like to steal stuff and be on the good side of things still. I almost screwed this up. I need to pay attention. So she has his lightsaber. It's Luke's, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll take that back." Like, and then he throws it over the rocks. Like, why? Why do you have to be such a prick about it? Like, seriously? You're going to, you know, this person gives you this lady comes and gives you your lightsaber. You lost this decades ago. And you're like, oh no, fuck you, bitch. I don't need your shit. Like, I didn't get that at all. It's like, it was supposed to be comic relief, I'm assuming, which is a whole other point in this movie that I'm totally not okay with. Also, I'm trying to comprehend what I'm doing. It's not easy. Where is this piece? Nope. Nope. Why is there pieces that are pre-done like this? And then there's ones that you have to sticker yourself. That makes little to no sense. However, I still haven't found the piece that I'm looking for. These aren't the droids you're looking for. Yes, I get the meme. Are you kidding? Anyway, the whole comic relief in the movie was absolutely horrible. To begin, I guess, with the whole, Luke gets the lightsaber from Rey. God damn, I can't seem to find this piece. Alright, I have to pause it for a second because I was going insane, but I found the pieces I need. Anyway, so you have this whole thing with Rey and Luke, and it just feels very forced. I almost felt like he was totally done with being Luke Skywalker. And granted, I mean, the guy's in his 70s, as far as I understand, or maybe his late 60s, definitely not much younger than that. It's like, obviously this guy just wants to be left alone. He doesn't want to play the stupid movie anymore. Guy is too old to fucking do anything. But no, let's have him in here. Let's oh fuck me. And I almost feel like he was like, nah, I don't give a fuck whatever you say. I'll just do whatever I want. And I don't know, I feel like it's really obvious, and he doesn't really give a fuck. Also, where does this go? This goes on the ground right here. Well, it looks like it does, so it's getting a bit annoying because they're not really showing where it goes exactly, so I'm assuming it goes right here. It looked really cool. It's like a little bit of a... Here, I'll show you actually before I put it in. Well, part of it broke off. It's like a little column, but part of it just broke off. I think I can just click it in there. There you go. Yeah, no, I just feel like he didn't really care. He was honestly... I mean, I should have probably looked up how much he made from the movie for just being in it, because didn't really have a big role. And personally, if he was not in the movie and they skipped the whole storyline, like, oh no, we can't find Luke, I guess he's dead. He could have been in the movie for like 5 seconds, be like, I'm a Force ghost, and then just forgot about him. That would have been fine with me. I think the movie would have been a lot better. However, there's the Rey and Luke storyline. Talking about bad storylines, you got the the whole storyline where Finn and this stupid dumb bitch, for some reason, go on this quest, which is already bullshit, but whatever. They go on a quest to find a specific person, and from one thing comes another. She does a sob story about, oh my god, I hate capitalism. Capitalism is bad, go. And Finn is like, yeah, capitalism is bad. Even though they later find out that the people at the casino are also selling guns to the Republic. And without those people, the rebellion wouldn't exist in the first place. And obviously it's kind of ironic because Disney itself is probably like the pinnacle of capitalism. So it's like Disney giving shit about capitalism, whereas it's like, are you fucking serious? You're Disney? Also, are you fucking serious? I can't find these pieces again. I think my brain is slowing down way too much. Well, no, I just find the pieces when I throw it out like this. I'm like, maybe if I act like Kylo Ren, I'll be better. Like, I'm gonna fucking throw a hissy fit. I need to have 2 of these pieces. There's another one. Put his ball on the side. We'll just leave it out like this. He's so sleepy. He's so sleepy. And I need one of these pear penises. Not bear penises, but pear penises. Tiny pear penis. That's number 1. Need 2 gray pieces. Yeah. Honestly, that whole story arc, people who say Rogue One was boring and don't think that whole story part was boring and long and absolutely useless are stupid. That was the most boring part of a Star Wars movie, and I sat through episode 1 of the movie ever. I honestly myself almost fell asleep, and that's pretty sad considering I was pretty excited to go see a Star Wars movie again. Now I think that's where that goes. We have like a little table here. Let's see if I can show you that. I have like a little table going on here right now. With a couple of chairs. I don't know if I can show you that really good or not, but we have that going on down here. Table with a drink on it, looks like, and a couple of chairs. That was the most boring, absolute boring, and no sense making thing I've seen in a long time in a movie. I expected, honestly, from a Star Wars movie, I expected hell a lot more. I mean, not every Star Wars movie can be as good as the last one or as the next one, obviously, and that makes sense. I mean, you have good movies, you have bad movies, but I don't know. Like, the thing is, I feel like if you're hating on this movie, people are just going to call you, oh my god, you're one of those OG Star Wars people who only likes the cool shit, like, fucking go back to watching the Clone Wars, you dickhole. It's like, no, I only just got done with the Clone Wars. It was definitely a very good show. Don't get me wrong. Clone Wars was fucking amazing. Doesn't mean, however, that the opinion of me is invalid just because I like the Clone Wars or because I think this was a bad movie. It just doesn't make sense. Also, I need one of these little weird ventilation things. Oh my god, where's this gonna go? Oh, okay, this is not too bad to understand. I like how I'm building this entire interior of this thing, and it's like, I'm never gonna see this, but like now, because obviously I put it down and never look at it again. I'm never gonna open it because I'm afraid I'll ruin it. Where does this go? Okay, one big block, two big block, small block, and another one of those vents. Yeah, the whole casino scene, honestly, it was kind of cool to give, like, it's always cool to see different planets in Star Wars, and obviously, this being a different planet than what we've ever seen before, it was kind of cool, but other than that, I think it was unnecessary, and definitely one big meme, I would like to call it, just to add good feeling stuff to the movie, like, oh, let's liberate these poor animals. That's what it came down to, in my opinion. Like, oh yeah, we have these, I guess, like, horse bunny things that are really cute, and we need to save them, because it's apparently, it's not like our fucking fleet is being chased down, and the entire rebellion is about to get fucking destroyed. Oh, fuck. Oh, no. What's happening? Wait, what? Oh, God, fuck. Wait a second. What? Oh, whew, I almost thought I screwed his entire build up. I was about to throw a fucking Kylo Ren right there, boys. Apparently, I misread the paper, and I almost thought that his entire structure was one too far forward. If that would have happened, I would have shot myself, because that means basically deconstructing this entire thing. Oh, I'm kind of fucked up here regardless. There we go. I love this thing. This thing is saving me. My nails, you have no clue. Although it's not saving me my sanity, because some of these things are... Oh god! Oh boy. Oh, never mind. He's still sleepy. He doesn't really care. Whew. Those were fine. I just need to put this closer. Okay. Right here. And then this goes here. And voila. Oof, that was a very big, sweaty moment there. I won't lie to you. Ooh, I was having some sweats there. Two more big pieces. The whole scene was honestly just feel good, like, oh, let's liberate these poor fuckers from their prison. Why? Why? Literally, their fleet was running out of fuel. They had to save the entire fleet by finding one stupid cuck. And the guy also, they never found them, but they had to find one stupid cuck. And instead of doing that, let's liberate these poor animals. And they also had these kids that were like slaves. And they were like they weren't being whipped necessarily, but there were slave kids, and they were like being mistreated by the guys who owned the racetrack or whatever. It was just one. Man, I feel like Ben-Hur was more of a family movie than this movie. And Ben-Hur, the original one, was, I don't know, I can't say I enjoyed watching that when I was a fucking kid. I remember fucking being like, what the fuck is this movie, and why is my dad showing me this movie? The original, like, 1979 Ben-Hur, not the remade one. Like, the original Ben-Hur, like, I'm pretty sure at one point you see people getting, like, nailed to the cross and shit. Honestly, that was more of a family movie than this movie, because there's literally no point in the entire fucking scene where they're just saving these animals. It's like, well, you know what? The fleet's cool. The fleet's cool. The rebellion's pretty cool, right? And shit, but these animals, though, it's all about these animals. I just feel like it's the same with those penguin bird cat. Well, they're not cats, but the penguin bird, like, squeaky things. It's just for Disney to create characters that they can sell items of in the Disney store. Like, oh, look at these cute bitches. Let's fucking... It's the same with Captain Phasma. I watched, actually, I think it was a PewDiePie video where he was discussing Star Wars, and he said that, according to him, I'm just quoting PewDiePie now, or quoting his numbers, that apparently Captain Phasma, although being one of the least important fucking characters in Episode 7, sold the most. Merchandising. Like, they sold the most. She is a character, or the character itself, like, sold the most merchandising, sold the most merch. Like, people fucking love the character. And it was a fucking badass character. And I feel like these little chicken things are also absolutely nothing. But because they're so cute, and kids just work that way, people are gonna buy those fucking things. And oh my god, they're so cute. Let's buy all of them. Man, it's... Maybe I'm just an old fuck. Maybe I'm actually too old for this, and I'm seeing through all of Disney's, like, smart tactics of trying to sell, you know, Star Wars to a younger audience. And who can blame them? Honestly, let's be honest here. If you're working on a movie and you have a budget, you obviously want to make as much money back as possible. And especially if that's Star Wars, you don't want to flunk it. And by not flunking it, part of not flunking it means you make it viable in every single way. Where it's like, well, maybe the movie is fucking shit, because it was. But what if the merch is shit? What if we have these cute fucking little animal, bird, chicken, rabbit, peeping things that kids will buy because it's all they'll remember of this stupid movie? That's so smart. I'm obviously being sarcastic, but you know what I mean. Like, Kylo Ren isn't a cool character, and how are you gonna sell Kylo Ren? Like, there's no mask. Like, you can buy a Darth Vader mask, you can buy a Boba Fett mask, you can buy a Captain Phasma, a First Order Trooper, Stormtrooper, you can buy any sort of mask, but it's hard to buy a mask for a character that doesn't wear a fucking mask. So, it's like, what? I don't know. It's very smart. It's very smart that they do it this way, and I can't blame them. Obviously, they want to make as much money as possible, and there's a lot of money in kids that convince their parents to buy them like a $20 doll that looks like one of those stupid little, like, beep, beep, beep things. Now, also, I'm missing one piece. I always say I'm missing one piece. I'm not missing one piece. I'm just not looking at it correctly, probably. Well, wouldn't it be amazing if I missed a piece on video? That would be reason for me to kill myself. Oh, ooh, almost dropped one of the 25,000 white little dots that are in this pack. Why am I unable to find the sixth piece? Sixth sense. Is it in here? Alright, let's just do this. Oh no, I found it. The second you start really looking for it, It's like my mom would always tell me this, like, before you call me, just look for it yourself. And I would look and look and look, and you're like, Mom, I can't find it. And then your mom was like, oh, you're fucking stupid. And then she comes and he's like, oh yeah, here it is. And like, how you literally looked in that place 25 times. You know, I'm sure you know what I'm saying. It's like, well, how about I fuck myself, right? Because I'm fucking blind. Turns out your mom has the superpowers. How about you deal with it? Also, this is fucking stupid. It doesn't line up. That's... Well, there goes my OCD. Actually, it does. It lines up as is in the thing, but doesn't line up with my brain. Like, I don't know if you can see that, but I added these control panels to the build, and they don't line up with the red thing on top, so they're like off, and it's really fucking messing with me. Now, luckily, I pre-did some stickers, which means I don't have to pause to do the stickers. The movie, like, honestly, the more I think about it, I really wanted to rewatch Rogue One in cinemas. I was such a big fan. The only thing that I would totally not argue about when it comes to Rogue One is missing the badass Star Wars music. I'll be 100% honest with you. There were definitely some scenes where I really missed the like da 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 like the John Williams music. And then it turns out that I'm actually personally still a really big fan of the like Rogue One theme. I can't really think of it right now. Like I can't think of it. It definitely sounds kind of like Star Wars. You know it isn't, but it still sounds like it. And I thought it was pretty good. I definitely didn't hate it. But honestly, obviously, I would have been a bigger fan of Rogue One if it had the actual Star Wars music that the other parts, almost broke off that part, had. But I don't think that the music ruined the movie for me. It was a fine movie, but I think that's one thing I really liked about like the Jedi, obviously the Last Jedi, is that the Star Wars music came back, the one that everyone's used to. But that didn't really make the movie for me. Obviously, I mean, it was just like, oh yeah, there's Star Wars music again, great. That's definitely not a way to save the movie. I would have totally not been bummed out on this movie if it just wasn't for the stupid casino part. And the whole part with Finn and Rose where... I mean, you've probably seen the movie if you're watching up to this part, but at one point, near the end of the movie, they're like on these floaty, rusty old things going through like the desert or salty desert at the Empire or the First Order units, because there's this big cannon that will blow open the door. And Finn is like, I must sacrifice myself for the rebellion. So Finn gets ready to fly head on into this badass fucking giant laser. And I think it was very brave and a very cool scene. And like the music and everything was like supporting this action, and he was like, well, he didn't say farewell world, but you know, you could see like it was going through his head, and he was like, I wouldn't say he was excited to kill himself, but he was definitely like willing to do so. And then stupid dumb bitch Rose comes along, and she's like, no, I will save you. So instead of saving the entire rebellion by saving the blast door, which Leia and stuff are hiding behind, no, let's just act like that's not important, and let's totally like save one person's life and thereby jeopardize the lives of directly dozens, if not hundreds of others, and indirectly the lives of the entire galaxy by your selfishness needs to save Finn. Like, oh my god, Finn, you're amazing. If she didn't do that, I mean, yeah, maybe it wouldn't have helped, but Finn would have killed himself, and maybe the weapon would have exploded and killed everyone around, and would have killed all the walkers, which also looked like gorillas for some reason, like the big AT-ATs. They normally have like those feet, and now they had these like gorilla paws. It was really fucking weird. They walked like enemies from Planet of the Apes. They just looked really stupid. Anyway, the whole scene made no sense. It totally, in my opinion, ruined Finn. Like, Finn is an okay character in the movie, but I would... Well, this is going to sound pretty rude, I guess, but I don't think it would be bad for his character if he would have died right there. I'm not trying to say, oh, I hope he fucking dies, but I'm saying I think it would have been good for his character if he died. Being like a big character, one of the main characters in episode 7, and it would have been a pretty big shock to the audience. It would have been a massive build up to like them charging these lines with only like 12 old rusty buckety scooter things and this giant formation of AT-ATs, and there's nothing they can do. They can't get through. There's like 4 speeder bike things left. And then he's ready for it. He closes his eyes. His plane is, a cold scooter plane is already melting away because this cannon is generating so much heat about to be fired. And you could see that in the initial charge up towards the cannon, so many people died. There's like only 4 people left were Rose, Finn, or 3 people left were Rose, Finn, and whatever the main guy is, Poe or Doe, or I keep conflicting, or I keep messing up Rogue One's characters and the trilogy characters, but it's like, oh, they lost so many people, and Rose and the fucking other guy are like, oh no, we're gonna turn around, and they turn around and you see Finn going for it, and he's been going for it by himself for like 7, 8, 9 seconds at this point. He's almost there. Like I said, his shit's melting. Surprisingly, his face is totally okay, even though obviously your hair and stuff would start melting immediately, and like his fucking arms would start burning up and everything. And then, out of nowhere, he's like so close, like out of the edge of my seat. A very good part of the movie. Edge of my seat. And then fucking Rose, out of nowhere, somehow manages to turn around, catch up to Finn, who's already doing fucking max speed in this little rust buckety cum thing. I don't know why I said that, but he's going max fucking speed. And Rose like intercepts him, crashes into him, stopping him, committing suicide or committing this honorable charge banzai thing wasn't maybe his point, but he was like, if I have to sacrifice my life for the rebellion, I'm willing to do so, which is insane. He came from this stormtrooper fucking character who went out and killed people for the Empire to now being someone who wanted to sacrifice his life for the Republic, and then she takes it all away, and it makes absolutely no sense. I'm letting myself be controlled in this episode by this horrible thing, and I mean, I should probably stop bitching about it, but I don't know. That movie was wait a second. That is not how that looks on my end. Does it look like this? Oh, it does look like that. Never mind. I really want to go on and talk about what else was wrong in this movie for me, and I'm definitely going to. However, I think it's a good point for today's episode, however, to end very soon. It is almost Christmas as I'm recording this, and I should probably do some real life. Oh, that works there. That actually looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Are you kidding me? How do I know where you put it? Okay, well, luckily I have very good eyes, and I saw what you did there. But when I add these 2 things, I think it's a good point for today's video to end. However, I did promise I was going to churn them out a little bit faster, and I say that and then stuff happens, but I promise that I will try and get at least one more video out before the end of the year, and then in 2018 I just gotta go ham sandwich and finish this thing, because if I don't finish it in time, we'll see the next movie before I'm done with this, which obviously isn't my intention. This needs to go like this. No, yes, no, yes. But honestly, I have so much more to talk about when it comes to the new movie, and I'm so excited to just burn it to the ground. Not because I like to burn down people's creations. Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, I think it's a cool movie, but there's definitely so much wrong with it, and so much like the whole Finn wanting to sacrifice himself for the rebellion, for the Republic, and then this dumb bitch not knowing anything is like, oh yeah, I'll fucking ruin your moment, and I don't know. It's just I really wish that they I think J.J. Abrams, the director for Episode 7, I think they switched directors after Episode 7, which I have no clue why. Episode 7 was okay. It wasn't great, but it was better than this one for sure. And honestly, there was so much talking that anyone who fell asleep in that movie, I can't blame them at all. I've never fallen asleep in the cinema. There were points where I was like, how am I even awake? All right, anyway, with that being said, we did mainly interior stuff, so I mean, I'll show you that in a second. It looks pretty cool right now. Actually, looks a lot more filled up on the inside. We have a little bit more interior stuff to do. We are at page 92, and then finally, in about 10 pages from now, so next episode basically, we'll be doing the engines, which is going to make it look fucking badass. Let me see if I can show you that. We're going to make it look badass as balls with engines and everything. And then I think after that, we're not even halfway into this paper yet, like pages wise. And then we're gonna start building the top. And finally, what I'm most excited for is the openable wings on the side. So the fact that it'll be able to open up. I'm pretty damn excited for that, and I think it'll be a really cool build to do from then on. And the thing is, it'll also be easier because you're not fucking around with like tiny pieces on the inside where it's like I have to put like one little block somewhere. You're building these giant wings, like you can see it over here, and it's just like one big piece that you have to build, and then we'll somehow, hopefully, not have fucked this up, and it'll all fit, and somehow it'll actually work, which is probably my biggest fear right now is being able to this old. It's fine right now, but let's hope that it's still fine in 2 episodes from now when we're going to attach the wings or the flaps. And if that, hopefully that works, and then we're all good. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Let's see you in the next one. Cheers.